Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So here's another deck profile for you guys today. This time it's actually my Christmas special. So this is Dragonmaids as promised, and yeah. So I apologize I didn't get this out to you guys sooner. I was pretty busy all day. I actually woke up pretty late too, so yeah, pretty tired. So anyway, figured I'd get this out to you guys before the night ends, and yeah, hopefully you guys are all doing great. I hope you're all having a happy holiday and Merry Christmas, and well, this is all for you. Oops. Well, that was a spoiler right there. Anyway, starting off with the main deck, it's going to be 40 cards. I'm playing 3 copies of the new Chamber Dragonmaid. So for those who don't know what this card does, if this card is normal or special summoned, you can add 1 Dragonmaid spell or trap from your deck to your hand. So this is really good because it searches out all your important spells in your trap cards. And yeah, at the start of the battle phase, you can return this card to your hand. And if you do, special summon 1 level 7 or higher Dragonmaid monster from your hand or graveyard. So this means that you can essentially get any of the big dragon monsters that you want. And hopefully we'll get a dragon form of this card pretty soon. I would really like to see what Kunami does with this one. Next, 3 copies of Kitchen Dragonmaid. So basically what this card does is that it can add any Dragonmaid monster from your deck to your hand, but you have to send a Dragonmaid from your hand or grave to the, or from your hand into the grave. So not too bad. It's still a fairly good starter. So yeah, and plus with cards like Dragonmaid Hospitality, this card can actually come in clutch whenever you need it to. So it's another good starter. And all the Dragonmaids basically do this battle phase thing where you basically bounce back the level 3 monsters, basically special summon the level 8s, whereas the level 2 monsters bring out the level 7s. So yeah. Next, 3 copies of Parlor Dragonmaid. So this is basically the Foolish Burial deck. You can send a Dragonmaid monster from your deck to the grave. Of course, it can't be itself. And yeah, and again, it's a level 3, so it brings out a level 8. So yeah, Parlor Dragonmaid, definitely one of the best ways to get things going. So like if you send this with, if you summon this, send Chamber Dragonmaid, and then use Hospitality, you can do a lot of cool combos with it, essentially. So yeah, Parlor Dragonmaid is probably gonna be the most versatile of the Dragonmaid monsters in general. But yeah, like any one of these can be really good starters or extenders, depending on how well you want to go about it. Next, 1 Nurse Dragonmaid. Many consider this probably the weakest of them all. I mean, I can see how that's true. So if this card is normal or special summon, you can target a level 4 or lower Dragonmaid monster from in your graveyard, except itself, and special summon. So yeah, like, it's not good in your opening hand, but if you can search it out and then summon it out later, it can come in clutch, because, you know, it's a free monster reborn, and yeah. And for the actual big Dragonmaid monsters, I'm going 1 Dragonmaid Lorpar. This is basically an effect veiler, but unfortunately it's not quick effect. We got a Dragonmaid Tankheck. So you can, this one does have a quick effect. You can discard this card, target 1 Dragonmaid monster you control. It gains 2,000 attack points for the turn. So that's actually not too bad, especially if you're gonna go for the OTK strategy. And of course, 1 copy of Dragonmaid Ernest. Quick effect, you can discard this card. You can special summon 1 level 4 or lower Dragonmaid monster. And, well, special summon 1 Dragonmaid monster from your hand, essentially. So not too bad. It's kind of like the exact opposite of Dragonmaid, or Nurse Dragonmaid, I should say. And yeah, so like 1 special summon from grave and the other special summons from hand. So not too bad. All right. So now we're going into the other Dragon engines. Starting off with 3 copies of Black Metal Dragon. So this is another starter, basically. In case if you don't see any of your Dragonmaid pieces, you can at least go into your Black Metal Dragon, still go into your Guard Dragon combos. And yeah, and also searches out your Red Ice cards too, which essentially there's only 1 to search, but still, like, Black Metal Dragon is still really good. You just, again, just mainly want it for your Guard Dragon pieces, basically. 2 copies of Noctivision Dragon. So if a Dark Dragon monster is special summoned, you can special summon this card literally for free. And also, if this card is sent to the graveyard as link material, you get to draw 1 card. So yeah, pretty good for draw strength. And what's also really neat about this card is that when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a face down cards or cards you control, quick effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard and negate the effect. So it's actually pretty good just to have a little protection for yourself, you know. Next, 1 Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. This is easily one of the best cards in the deck, even though he got the errata. Honestly, that's fair. I mean, it needed it. So yeah, it's still good to bring out with Guard Dragon LP. So yeah, not too bad. 1 Tempest, pretty good extender too. And of course, a little spice, a Morphage Goliath, since, you know, you can easily bring this out with Hieratic Spheres. And since, you know, with Dragon Buster completely banned, you definitely want to have a replacement for it. So Morphage Goliath should do the job just fine. All right, so that's pretty much it for the Dragon Engine. Now we're moving on to hand traps. 3 copies of Ash, still one of the best hand traps. 2 copies of Ghost Ogre. Nobody really sees it coming, and yeah, Ghost Ogre is easily underrated this format, so yeah, don't underestimate this card. This card is still really good right now, especially like with all the Eldritch variants, like Eldritch Numeron. This kills it. This actually hurts the Virtual World strategy a little bit too, so like, yeah, you just gotta like know when to properly use this card. 2 copies of Skullmeister. I was gonna use Ghost Bill, but I can't seem to find any right now. I know I have some, I just don't remember where I put them, so I'll have to look through my stuff later. But Skullmeister to me is still just as good, honestly, especially the fact that his ability is not a hard once per turn at all. So you could use multiples anyway, so Skullmeister is still a pretty good option to go with too, if you'd rather play this. So yeah, Skullmeister, I think I'm probably gonna stick with it simply because again, it's just not once per turn, and yeah, pretty good. All right, next up for the spells, I'm actually playing 3 copies of World Legacy Guard Dragon. This is one of the best spells in the entire deck, simply because of the fact that it's a monster reborn, and then you can also change the zone of which Guard Dragon monster you're on. So like if you have LP and a Romulus, you can move LP like 1 zone over, and then you can have, that way you can like just go into your place a little bit more effectively. So yeah, pretty good. 3 copies of Dragonmaid Hospitality. I can't believe this card is so expensive, honestly. But it is what it is. You can special summon a Dragonmaid monster from your hand or your grave in defense mode, then send 1 Dragonmaid monster with the same attribute but a different level from your deck to the grave. So this is a good way to get your big boss dragon monsters into the grave, and yeah. Next, 2 copies of Dragonmaid Changeover. So this is the fusion spell, and it also has self-recursion, so pretty good. So yeah, you generally use this just against your big boss monster, and yeah, not much else to say about that. 1 Dragon Ravine, pretty broken. The fact that you can dump any dragon you want. Now I know this is actually a 3-of, but unfortunately I only own 2. Dragonmaid Tiding. So what this card does is you target 1 dragon monster you control and 1 card your opponent controls, or in their grave, return them to the hand, and then you can banish this card from your grave, special summon 1 Dragonmaid monster from your hand or your grave in defense mode, but return it to the hand during the end phase. So the whole point of this card is simply to kind of like trigger the effect of your house Dragonmaid, because any dragons that get bounced back, you get to pop a card. So yeah, Dragonmaid Tiding is super good. So for right now, because I only own 2, I am running 1 copy of Dragonmaid Downtime. It's just like a filler. So I mean, it's still a pretty decent card, let's just be honest. So you can target 1 Dragonmaid monster you control, then activate one of these effects. You can either A, return to the hand, and if you do, add 1 Dragonmaid card from your deck to your hand, or you can return it to the hand, and if you do, return 1 spell or trap your opponent controls. So that's actually not too bad for spell and trap card removal, especially if you want to deal with like floodgates and stuff. So yeah, Dragonmaid Downtime isn't really half bad when you really think about it, but Tiding is just slightly better in some cases. So yeah, like for right now, this is just how it's going to be until I can get my 3rd copy of Tiding. So, but yeah, it's still not too bad with all things considering. You could easily get away with just 2 Tidings, especially because Chamber Dragonmaid can actually search it. So yeah, I can't really complain about it too much. All right, so for the extra deck, playing 2 copies of Hieratic Spheres. So easily one of the most broken lane 2s in this extra deck, simply because you can bring out a Morphage Goliath and bounce back one of your opponent's monsters as punishment. So yeah, 1 Romulus to search out your Dragon Ravine. Of course, you still need LP and Pisty. LP surprisingly is still legal. I honestly thought it was going to get banned. 1 Almirage, figured why not. I'm also running 1 copy of IP Masquerena. Just because, like, in case my guard dragon plays don't work out, I could always go into like a separate strategy. So think of IP Masquerena as a backup plan, really. I'm also running the BLS Link monster. It's also really good because you do run a lot of high-level monsters. Saryuja Skuldred, just to kind of like link off my guard dragons if I need to, or just to get a little draw power. It really does help. And the fact that it fixes your hand too. It's not too often that I need to use it, but it's still good to have. Boral Sword to help close out games. So this kind of what the IP Masquerena is kind of for. So like if I need to go into like a more aggressive strategy and just simply OTK my opponent, this is basically one of the best ways to go about it, because Boral Sword can't be destroyed in battle, but with IP Masquerena, to the point where you like can't be destroyed by card effects either. So like that's actually pretty difficult to deal with. For the fusions, I'm running 2 copies of House Dragonmaid. So once per turn during the standby phase, you can target 1 other Dragonmaid monster you control, special summon it, you can special summon that Dragonmaid monster from your hand or graveyard in defense mode. And then, of course, its level has to be 1 higher or lower. You know what? I'm just reading this thing wrong. Huh. Okay, try again. Once per turn, during the standby phase, you can target 1 other Dragonmaid monster you control. Special summon 1 Dragonmaid monster from your hand or your grave in defense mode, whose level is higher or lower than the one you sent back. So basically, or the one you targeted, I should say. When another face-up dragon monster you control is returned to your hand, you can target 1 monster your opponent controls, destroyed. So that's how I read it. I meant to read it. I just kind of like got all mixed up right there. So I apologize for that. Next, 1 copy of Dragonmaid Shoe. So this is basically House Dragonmaid's dragon form. And this one's an Omni Negate. And it's actually pretty cool. Like, I really like what this thing can do. During each standby phase, you can special summon 1 level 9 or lower Dragonmaid monster from your hand or your grave. So keep in mind, this is level 9 or lower. So you can special summon like whatever you want, basically. When your opponent activates a card or effect, you can negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. Also, after that, return this card to the extra deck rather than your hand. Special summon House Dragonmaid from your extra deck. So basically, this card recycles itself, and that's really nice. And you could easily bounce back House Dragonmaid yourself too later on if you need to do it that way. So like these two kind of like basically loop each other around. Sadly, Shoe's effect is hard once per turn. If it wasn't, I would have ran more than just 1, but yeah, 1 Dragonmaid Shoe is more than enough, honestly. And I saw this that came to my attention, Trishula. You know, this is another good way just to deal with like the guard dragon monsters themselves. That way you could just banish them after you're done using them. Go to Trishula. Since they're all going to be dragon monsters, you can use its effect to basically snipe cards out of your opponent's deck and extra deck. And since Dragonmaid Shoe is also a level 9 monster, you could actually use her and Trishula if you wanted to as rank 9 material for True King of All Calamities. It's not too often that I need to go into True King of All Calamities, but it is a nice bonus just to run it. So, and plus I needed a card to kind of like fill in for the extra deck. So yeah, figured why not. All right. For the side deck's a little different than I would normally go with, but it's pretty nice. I'm actually running 3 copies of Denko Sekka. Now this card is pretty interesting because we're in a format where it's kind of like all control decks mostly, and with Denko Sekka, it basically shuts down like any cards that are back row reliant. So like you normal summon this, and you control no back row, you can essentially, or at least no set cards, I should say. Your opponent can't activate any set cards. So yeah, that's pretty nice. 3 Drone Lockbird. This is simply for the Drytron strategy. Yes, you know, I don't want to deal with the with Cyber Angel Benton. So yeah, Drone Lockbird is pretty good. I'm also running a artifact engine. This is primarily for the virtual world strategy, since you know they like to end on double calamity. So 2 Sight, 3 Sanctum. It can be helpful whenever you need to go that route. And another way just to deal with back row, triple Twin Twisters, and of course 1 Harpy's Feather Duster. So I figured why not. Well, hopefully you guys enjoy this, and I will catch you guys again next time.